Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, this is your forecast for February 2013, and we have an exciting chart for you this month because we have a whole lot of planets going together in a stellium, and for you it's moving into the third house where there's going to be just a lot of should I say action and clearing up all the activity that you had in January. There was probably a lot of financial talks for you in January. Now February is all about bringing it into communicating and getting papers and documents signed. A lot of communication is going to be important there earlier in the month, and I see you making great connections in that sense. And a little bit later in the month, the second half, all of this is going to be moving into your fourth house, which has to do with your roots, your security, your foundation. It's also family and the past. So you'll see how that's going to come together too. But here, first part of the month, I see focus for you is really going to be on completing something, finishing some task or some goal that you've been working on for a long time. Saturn has been working up towards this way back when. And your Mars now is trying to wrap it up and trying to do it before the 15th. On the 15th, you have powerful aspects to put the key in the door, so to speak, and say that you have locked it in. It is a deadline. And why? Because this planet, Saturn, which needs to be on your side for good outcomes of mastering what you've been working for, is going to go retrograde. It's going to go to sleep. So that's on the 19th. So on the 15th, when Mars is in the picture with that Saturn and Pluto, this is a beautiful aspect here to have. It will help you to give you the energy, the drive, the focus to get it done. And any papers, contracts, or documents pertaining to this, you also want to pay attention to get all that done before the 24th when Mercury goes retrograde. We don't want any documents signed under a retrograde because it can go haywire, there can be miscommunications, or you don't read the fine print, and then it's going to have to be redone later down the road, and we always want to try to avoid that. So get all documents, papers between now and the 24th completed. But let's talk a little bit about this Mars, Saturn, Pluto. For you, it's between the 12th house. Saturn just moved in there here recently for you. You've been working extremely hard, Sagittarius, over these last couple of years, and Saturn's already wanting to go to rest. It's tired, exhausted from the journey that it's been doing actually the last 26 years. So it's going to be here in your 12th house for 2 years, where it's going to be revamping itself and recharging its energy for a new karmic journey for the next 28 years. So some of you might feel a little tired. You have good reason for it, but it's still functioning for you. It's still going direct, and it is supercharging your financial house, or your house of self-worth, where Pluto is. So, and Pluto can transform your finances from ashes to gold, okay? So some of you, especially early in the sign, I'd say the first third of you Sagittarians, may have been going through not just a whirlwind, but a cycle of like death and rebirth, okay? So something has been taken from you, you know, and it's like it's felt really difficult, really hard. But the upside of Pluto is also the magician. So Pluto in the second house, especially for those of you born in the first third of your sign, might have felt how things have been eliminated. Pluto eliminates, it sheds all the old, and that can be a little scary at times, especially when it's not by self-choice, but it's the universe doing it, and Pluto is trying to reconfigure your finances. And when it does, that's the rebirth side of it. So some of you now in the early sign of Sagittarius will start seeing the rebirthing of this, and it can do magnificent things because Pluto is also the magician, and it can bring you things that you don't even have any idea of yet how big that can be. And when we got key players like Saturn and Mars, well, they're also helping to do the job for this to really open up in better ways than you've ever been before financially. For the rest of you Sagittarians, mid-sign, late sign, you have this coming for you. You might already start feeling those impending senses of change coming, but you're not quite there yet. And yes, it is hard. I think those early Sagittarians can underwrite that and agree with it because they're going through it. But then the outcome, just wait till these early Sagittarians start speaking to you and telling you they wouldn't have wanted to be without it. But the hard thing is with Pluto there, when things start getting eliminated, it kind of affects the sense of self-worth too. Second house is all about what we value, and it's also our inner worth. And that might have taken a blow, and it's hard, but you know, you are so much more than your material values, Sagittarius. Do not do the equivalent of your self-worth being the equivalent of your bank book or your wallet, okay? There's inner worth. And Pluto's also working to transform these skills. Second house worth, it's talents. If you have had breaks in time right now where there hasn't been too much going on, it's also looking at how you can refine and develop, master these talents that you are born with. Later on, you may take these talents and you may fly with them. So it's all good. It's just hard to see when some of it is still hidden, and Pluto may hide things for a while before it is revealed. Anywho, let's look at the romantic side of this month, because you know what, Sagittarians, there's a lot of that going on, and you deserve to be happy right now. We have Mars and Neptune doing this here on the 4th and 5th, and it is very romantic. There's a drive there, a longing to achieve something that's spiritual and loving, giving, nurturing, healing. And it's like I said, soothing music here to your soul. And Mercury will be entering into Pisces and joining this here the day after. So here's more Neptunian feeling. And Neptune is always what we dream. We say that the 11th house is hopes and wishes, but Neptune and Pluto, they dream. And remember, the law of attraction is what we see, what we dream is what we attract. Very powerful. So remember that. And then followed here on the 5th and 6th, magnificent dates. We got Venus and Uranus coming together in a perfect angle for unexpected surprises. It can come for you. It will probably here be in between your 3rd house and your 5th house. So communications. It could come from a partner, a loved one. It could be some documents or news of something very exciting that triggers your hopes and dreams with hobbies and leisure. 5th house is creativity, it's projects. So if you're working on a creative project, that may lighten up for you, and you might get the right phone call you've been waiting for. That will unleash those energies. And then we have Venus and Jupiter too, which is, I mean, talk about hand in hand here. Exciting news this very, very first week of February. Venus being money, it is also love. It's those things we value. Coming into a perfect angle of Jupiter, which is the blessed planet of abundance. Anything Jupiter does, it does it big. So either there's like big love that day, or it could also be big money here on the 6th, 5th, 6th. And then I see this date we were talking about pushing through here on the 15th, where Saturn, Mars, and Pluto will line up. concluding whatever needs to be concluded so you could take the more long haul break from it, which Saturn is going to give you now for the next 4 months or so, way into summer. So I see that being a date where you can be very proud of yourself because you pushed it and you achieved it. And then we have the Sun also moving into Pisces, along there with Mercury and Mars and Neptune, joining your house of the fourth sector of your chart. So I see you taking time off, spending more time with family members, or those that you perceive as extended family members. It's a time to just rest now. You know, you've been running and you've been so busy mentally with all of these energies here in your third house. In January, you've been thinking and pushing, and now you can rest and take everything good in. And then the next romantic date here, the month will end as it started with Mars and Neptune. Now you got Venus and Neptune being conjunct, and this will be in your fourth house as well. So in the area of home, you might just want to have a beautiful, romantic, relaxed evening at home or in the home of somebody else. So it's not necessarily out and about in town or anything. This is more like a very personalized way to share love on this evening. So I wish you good luck. It is an exciting month. It's going to be very dynamic. And you know, when we have all these planets grouping together in one area, it's because the universe wants you to focus now, right here in this area. So to conclude it all, it's the third house of communication and documents, getting day-to-day news out and about, finalizing whatever paperwork that needs to get finalized, contracts, agreements, those kind of things, and then taking a break from it. So some of you might just now see that what you're setting up here, see, because you got Jupiter that's been retrograde since October. It's been sleeping. It turned reg here on the last day of January. And Jupiter is what we need to have on our side to really feel the big push forward with enthusiasm. And for you, it's been sleeping in the seventh house of partnership. So you might have felt from October to now that yes, good things were on the horizon, but then it kind of like, whoops, disappeared from the horizon. Still there, but sleeping. Jupiter now is going to push you forward and lift you up. And whatever you're putting in now, I see from June, July, is really going to extend itself as to big funds. It's moving into your eighth house of either investments or banking or commissions, royalties, those kind of things. So right now you're setting the scene for what's going to come for the latter part of the year. But you have now Jupiter with you in the best place for working partnerships, and having Pluto in the second house for money and funding. Well, if you're working in those areas, it really looks good for you, Sagittarius. So it was nice talking to you, and do listen to your moon sign, also your rising sign. It will give you even more insight on what is going on in your chart. And I will see you the next time. Bye now.